Let's be honest, we get hit with claims all the time, right? This new diet will make you lose weight. This policy is going to fix the economy. But how do we really know? How do we separate what's actually true from what just sounds good? Well, today we're going to get a little less casual about cause and effect and learn a smarter way to see the world. So, to really get our heads around this, let's start with a surprisingly simple question. Picture this. You're walking down a busy street. You stop and you look straight up at the sky. Does the person walking towards you also look up? It sounds almost silly, but figuring out the answer to this one little question, well, it unlocks one of the biggest challenges in all of science. Okay, first things first, we've got to get one thing crystal clear: the massive difference between association and causation. Association just means two things happen together. The classic example, ice cream sales and shark attacks. They both go way up in the summer. They are associated. But eating ice cream doesn't cause shark attacks. Causation, on the other hand, is direct. You flip a switch, and it causes the light to turn on. One thing makes the other happen. Now, our brains are lazy. They love to see two things happening together and just assume one caused the other. Learning to fight that urge is the whole game. So if we can't trust simple association, how do we prove that one thing truly causes another? Well, scientists have what they call a gold standard method. And believe it or not, its incredible power comes from something you probably have in your pocket right now: a simple coin. Here's exactly how you would design the perfect experiment for our pedestrian question. It's so simple. For every single person who walks towards you, you secretly flip a coin. If it's heads, you look up. If it's tails, you just look straight ahead. And then you simply write down what they do. That's it. This super simple but incredibly powerful setup is called a randomized controlled trial. You'll often hear it called an RCT. Now, the real magic, the secret sauce here, is the randomization, that coin flip. Because you're deciding what to do based on a random chance, you're ensuring that over enough people, the only significant difference between your look up group and your look straight ahead group is, well, whether you looked up. It's like a magic trick that makes all the other possible explanations just disappear, so you can see the true effect. Okay, so that's the ideal, the perfect world of the science lab. But as we all know, the real world, it gets messy, really messy. And a lot of the time we face huge questions where you just can't flip a coin. I mean, just think about this question for a second. Could you, ethically, decide who gets a life-saving heart transplant by flipping a coin? No way. Absolutely not. And that's why for so many of life's most important questions about medicine, about the economy, about public policy, the perfect experiment is totally impossible. We have to work with what we've got, which is just observational data. We're just watching the world go by and trying our best to make sense of it. And this is where that casual thinking can get us into so much trouble. The authors of the source material for this explainer, Miguel Hern and James Robbins, put it perfectly right here. When you can't just run a perfect experiment, it becomes incredibly easy to get confused and draw all the wrong conclusions. The main villain, the big bad guy we're up against when we're looking at real-world data, is something called confounding. The best way to think about it is like a spoiler. It's a hidden third factor that's connected to both of the things you're trying to study, and it totally messes up the picture, creating a link that isn't really there. This slide shows exactly how confounding can twist our brains into a pretzel. If you just looked at the raw data, you might see that more patients who get a heart transplant die. You might think, wow, heart transplants are dangerous. But hold on, what's the hidden spoiler? What's the confounder? Well, who gets a heart transplant in the first place? The absolute sickest patients. Their critical condition is the hidden variable that's connected to both getting the transplant and, sadly, their chances of survival. It completely distorts the real story. So what do we do if we can't run the perfect experiment? Do we just give up? No. Scientists have developed this incredibly elegant way of thinking about the problem. And it's right here in the subtitle. If you can't run the trial, you make your analysis pretend you did. This powerful idea has a name: target trial emulation. It's kind of like a detective showing up to a crime scene after everything has happened. You can't rewind the tape and see it for yourself, right? But what you can do is use all the evidence available to rigorously reconstruct what most likely happened. That's what we're doing here, but with data. We're using statistical tools to build a simulation of the perfect experiment we wish we could have run. And this shows you the mental shift we're making. On the left, you've got reality. It's messy, the data's chaotic, people choose to do things for all sorts of reasons. On the right, that's the dream, the perfect, clean, randomized trial where confounding is just gone. Target trial emulation gives us the tools to clean up the mess on the left so that it looks as much like the ideal on the right as we can possibly get it. So how does it actually work? Well, it's a super disciplined process. You have to be incredibly precise. You have to ask, what is the exact question I'm trying to answer? Who would have been in my perfect trial? What are the exact treatments I'm comparing? When does the clock start ticking? And the most important part, what are all the possible confounders, and how am I going to use statistics to adjust for them? This is how we stop being casual and start being truly causal. All right, so that's the science. But how does this actually help you in your day-to-day life? Because this isn't just some obscure tool for researchers. It's a powerful mental model for pretty much everything. Look, if you forget everything else from this entire explainer, please burn this one phrase into your brain. Say it with me. Association is not causation. Just remembering this one simple idea will instantly make you a sharper, more critical thinker. So here it is, your own personal causal inference toolkit. The next time you see a headline or a post on social media making some big claim, just pause. Ask yourself, was this a randomized trial? The answer is almost always no. So what are the hidden spoilers? What are the confounders that could be driving the story? And maybe the most powerful question of all, what would the perfect coin-flipping experiment to test this actually look like? Just trying to imagine that will expose the flaws in almost any weak claim. So I'll leave you with this challenge. What's a claim about cause and effect that you've seen today? Maybe something about a food or an exercise or political policy. Don't just accept it or reject it. Think like a scientist. Think less casually. How would you design the perfect trial to find out if it's really, truly true?